Hi, good morning, everyone. This is a recording of our Easter Seals family training on social emotional strategies for young children. So the agenda for today, I'm just going to do a quick introduction. We'll do a PBIS review. We'll review some emotional literacy, some other social emotional skills, including friendship skills, problem solving, and coping and calming. My name is Danielle Fiancini. If you don't know me, I'm the division director at our Delaware and Chester County divisions of Easter Seals. I'm also a behavior analyst and a facilitator through the Pennsylvania Positive Behavior Support Network. But most of all, I'm also a mom to two young kids. It's actually an older picture, but I found it on this presentation that I did a couple of years ago. So I have a 2-year-old now daughter, Gabriella, and a now 7-year-old son, Joseph. So I use a lot of my experiences being a mom in the training. So I like to give you a little introduction about myself as well. So we're going to do a review on what is PBIS, or positive behavior support. This is, I believe, the third or fourth family support training that we've done this school year. And we've done an introduction on positive behavior support, but I would like to do a review because the material we present is always through that PBIS lens. So PBIS stands for Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. It is a positive approach to behavioral intervention. It is a way to meet the social and emotional needs of all of the children in our Easter Seals early childhood programs. Some components of PBIS in preschool include using positive language, using praise and reinforcement, having visually rich environments, using first boards, schedules. We're going to talk about social stories today. We're going to talk about emotional literacy, and also having program-wide expectations consistent for all the kids. Be safe, be kind, have fun. So this is our pyramid model. So in PBIS, it's a tiered system of supports. And if you joined us in our intro to PBIS training, we reviewed a lot of the tier 1 supports. Those supports are the ones in blue. And we talked a lot about nurturing and supportive relationships, how to have more positive interactions with our children. And we also talked about the environment, how to create an environment that gives the children cues about what expected behaviors are in those environments. So today we're moving up the pyramid to what we would call tier 2 supports, or targeted social emotional supports for young children. I love quotes. If you've been in any of my trainings, you know I'll plug these in whenever I can. So this quote says, when little people are overwhelmed by big emotions, it's our job to share our calm, not join the chaos. And I know as a parent, sometimes it's very easy to slide into the chaos of the situation. But we need to try our best, right, to model and help our children to learn how to navigate some challenging situations and some big feelings. So we do that by teaching them, right? We want to teach them these social emotional skills that are really important for helping them to navigate their big feelings. So we're going to talk a little bit about most of these today: friendship skills, emotion words, feelings, how to recognize feelings, how to calm down, and how to control anger and impulse. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about teachable moments. So this line, okay, represents a child who is escalating, right? So the yellow arrow, they're like super calm. Green, they're like ready to learn, right? Maybe blue, they're getting a little upset, a little agitated, and red is full-blown escalating and angry, okay? Tantrum. So where do you think the teachable moment is? Take a moment and just say to yourself, where do you think the teachable moment is. Some of you might say yellow or green. Some might say red. So red is not your teachable moment. And I'm going to kind of elaborate on why the red is not the teachable moment. When a child is escalated, it's very hard to try to teach a new skill, right? So you want to try to teach the skill and practice the skill when they're calm, when they're ready to learn, so that eventually they can use it in the red, right? They have practice, they are confident, and now when they are upset, you can use the skill that you taught when they're calm in the moment to help them to de-escalate or cope a little when they're feeling those big feelings, okay? Now, it's not to say that maybe as they, if you see a child becoming upset, maybe they're in the blue, you can remind them, say, hey, remember, we're working on that technique for calming down on how to take a deep breath. Let's practice, okay? You can use their cues and try to help prevent the escalation, right? That's okay. But when we're talking about teaching new skills, we want to try to teach in the green. So I love this quote by Tom Herner. I'm going to read it to you. It says, if a child doesn't know how to read, we teach. A child doesn't know how to swim, we teach. If a child doesn't know how to multiply, we teach. If a child doesn't know how to drive, we teach. If a child doesn't know how to behave, we teach, punish. Why can't we finish that last sentence as automatically as we do the others? PBIS really does look at social emotional skills as skills that we can and should teach young kids. We shouldn't just be punishing for behaviors they display that are unexpected, right? We should be focusing on how to teach those appropriate replacement behaviors. So we're going to start talking about how to create an emotional vocabulary for young children. These faces are so cute, right? But our kids are definitely expressive, right? They express many feelings, maybe happy, sad, scared, surprised, angry, right? So we're going to talk about emotional literacy, which is just the ability to identify, understand, and express emotions in a healthy way. The first part of this is just understanding the language of feelings, right? So when a child is crying, right, labeling that feeling for them, oh, I see you're so sad. Why are you sad? What happened? Right? So making that connection between the feeling word and what they are actually experiencing, okay, is step one. Even before I get there, even labeling your own feelings. Mommy's feeling really tired today, didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Maybe we should do some exercise to wake up, right? So really focusing on labeling the emotions of yourself, of others, is a first step in teaching emotional literacy. And I can tell you, I've done this with my son. He's 7 now, from a very young age. I became immersed in the world of PBIS when he was about 2 or 3. So I've been doing this with him since he was very young. And he now can express his emotions and say, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling sad. But we can't expect young kids just to jump to being able to express that young. We need to start by teaching, right? And we can teach indirectly, right? So I'm not asking you to do a lesson with your kids, right? Because that's just not reasonable, right? That's for us to do at school. But at home, just labeling the emotions of others is a really good way to start building emotional literacy and a nice emotional vocabulary. Some other fun ways to teach and reinforce this at home is songs. Okay. One easy one is if you're happy and you know it. It's a little modification. I'll sing just a bit. But the normal one is if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, right? But you can go on into other feelings. If you're sad and you know it, cry a tear. Ooh-hoo, right? And you can go to mad, excited. Okay, you can go through those. There is a super simple song that's really, really cute. I linked it down here. If you can see it, I'll just go to a YouTube page with the super simple song. Kids love it. Okay. But again, nice, fun, easy way to start creating that emotional vocabulary. Okay. Some other examples. This is a classroom example, but super easy for you to use at home is a mirror. Just making faces in a mirror, right? Oh, sad. Oh, now we're happy, right? Even sometimes when my daughter is crying, so it happens in the bathroom because she doesn't love brushing her teeth, but I'll have her look in the mirror. It's like, oh, you're so sad. Look, you're crying, right? So they can see their own reaction and their facial expressions, right, as you're labeling the emotions. Now, an interesting side note is with COVID and masking, we're wondering what impact it's going to have on young children's emotional vocabulary and emotional literacy, because we are covering up these facial expressions at school. So it is really important to be able to, really talk about it at home and talk about the facial expressions and talk about the feelings that go along with those actions. There are a ton of books that talk about feelings. Sad monster, glad monster, mouse was mad. Ton of books. This is a book list. I'm going to send you guys the slides with the this recording, so you can just click on that link in the slide. It'll bring a huge book list up of books that you could have at home and read to just, again, a simple, easy way to start fostering those emotional literacy skills. Another tool we use at school are feelings charts. Now, you don't have to use it at home. I just want to give you another example. If you want to expand on creating a feelings vocabulary for your child. This is an example of a feelings chart. You can find these anywhere, you can Google it, right? And you can just ask your child, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling this morning, right? After they have started to understand some of these feelings words, you can utilize this. You could also cut this like in half or even in third and just use happy, sad, excited, right? We do a lot of these sort of feelings check-ins in school. So the key concept with feelings are, feelings change. You could have more than one feeling about something. You could feel differently than someone else about the same thing. And all feelings are valid. It's what you do with them that counts. And I think that's the message we really want to send our young kids is, it's okay. It's okay if you're angry. It's okay if you're upset. It's okay if you're frustrated. They're all normal feelings, and your feelings can't be wrong, right? Sometimes we don't understand our children's feelings, and that's okay not to understand them. But to acknowledge them, right, is really important for them to feel validated and like, oh, it is okay that I feel this way. But it is important to have appropriate actions that stem from those feelings, right? So an example is, if you say, oh, it's time to clean up, my daughter might start crying, tantruming, right? Like, oh, I'm sorry you're sad, honey, but it's time to clean up. It's time to go upstairs for dinner, right? So you can validate a feeling and keep an expectation, right? So that's possible to do both. I will talk a little bit about friendship skills. So teaching children friendship skills is really important. There is an awesome social story, Super Friend. I have it linked in the resources on the last page. But some simple strategies that you can do at home to work on friendship skills are included on this slide. And we do a lot of this at school. So again, this material is not to stress you out. It's just to be like, if you want ideas on how to work on these things at home, here you go. Turn taking. Okay. Turn taking is not a skill that comes naturally to all kids. Okay. We do a lot of practice of it here at school. Okay. So how can you work with it at home? You can start by just encouraging play with siblings, cousins, friends, any other kids that, might be around. And at first, parallel play or just playing next to another kid is okay. That's the first step. Okay. Once you see that your child is interested in other kids or other kids are interested in your child, you might want to start helping facilitate turn taking. So at first, adult might be needed, probably will be. So you have your child, another child or sibling, and yourself, and you're gonna model turn taking, right? So you might just be passing a toy, like, oh, it's my turn with the stuffed animal. Thank you for giving me that. All right, I'm gonna play with the stuffed animal. Oh, now it's your turn, right? So you're modeling the turn taking, right? And you're facilitating it amongst the group, okay? And sometimes you have to prompt, which means give a reminder or a direction to take a turn, okay? So you might say, oh, okay, you played with the stuffed animal for 1 minute. Now it's Sissy's turn. Give to Sissy. That's a prompt, okay? And then what I don't have on this slide is the reinforce. Model, prompt, reinforce is what we live by, right? So after you prompt and your child complies and let's say passes a toy, good job passing the Sissy. Nice work. That's a good friend, right? So bringing it full circle. You can use games at home, simple games like maybe Connect Four. If you have it, don't go out and buy it. I'm not promoting that. It's like if you have it at home, that's a simple turn-taking game. Or maybe you can just have a catch. Just throw a ball or roll the ball back and forth, okay? And I will share at the end of the CSS some resources for social stories about friendship and sharing. Another social skill that we work on at school is problem solving, right? So what to do if you have a problem. The bottom graphic is from a social story, We Can Be Problem Solvers. Again, I have the link in the resource for you at the end of the slides. But these picture cards up top are really nice to teach some of our older kids or some of our Friendship Academy students. What can you do if you have a problem? Maybe you can ask nicely, you can ignore, you can say please stop, you can play together. And for some of our younger children, problem solving might just look like teaching them how to ask for help, right? If you need help, what can they do? If they don't have a vocal language, maybe teach a sign for help, right? Maybe you're gonna have a help card, right? So if they need help, they can bring in a card or touch the card. So working on problem solving is another really important social skill that we work on in school, but you could also work on at home. Now, we're going to talk lastly about controlling anger and impulse. And you're like, for young kids? Yes. So we really talk about like coping and calming, right? Like how can we, we talked about in emotional literacy, like how can we help them to understand when they're feeling mad, but also how can we help them to learn how to calm down? So Tucker the Turtle is a great tool. Tucker the Turtle is a social story which helps teach kids a calming technique called the turtle technique. And it's 4 steps, right? So step 1 is recognize your feelings, right? So you need to work on the emotional literacy to do that, step 1. Step 2 is stop your body. Right? This is like a little bit of regulation. We're going to talk about that because I feel like each one of these steps is a different skill, right? So emotional literacy, step 1. Step 2, regulation. And we're going to talk a little bit about activities that help support stopping your body. Step 3 is tuck in your shell and take 3 deep breaths. The power of a deep breath is amazing for young kids and adults alike. It can just be that reset that you need, right? Because sometimes when we're escalated and mad, you know, sometimes our brains jump into, you know, fight, flight, or freeze response. And in order to kind of use our problem-solving portion of our brain, our rational portion of our brain, we need to do a little reset, right? So the deep breath really can help to connect our body, right? And our brain, and help us to get to step 4, where we can actually come out more calm and then actually problem solve, right? So step 4 is your problem solving step. So you can't even use step 4 if you're angry right away, right? We have to say, oh, I'm angry. I need to stop, take some breaths, and let me think of a solution. So how to teach step 2 and step 3. So we're going to talk about stopping, how to teach stop, and then how to take a deep breath. This little visuals are really cute. Smell the flowers, blow the pinwheel, right? You're teaching deep breathing. So teaching stop and go, we do this a lot at school, but you can do it at home too. You can play freeze dance, cars and trains, if you're racing outside, even tickles, right? Oh, go, I'm gonna tickle you. And then, oh, stop, right? And have the child, right, say stop and go, right? Red light, green light. You can have obstacle courses, right? There's so many ways to teach and reinforce stop go. This will really help with regulation in your body, right? To go from movement to no movement. It's going to really help with that step. I want to tell you a story. I will share this pinwheel breathing social story in the resources. So we had a carnival at our Montgomery County East Coast location a few years ago, and we had a PBIS table. And I, for like a little takeaway from the table, got pinwheels. And so I thought, oh, this is great. I'll do the social story. I'll share a pinwheel. And every kid that came by that table could blow my pinwheel. And I was blown away, like that pun. But I was, because I was like, wow, every kid can blow this pinwheel. So I actually have a few at home. That does help to teach the deep breaths for young kids. So I will share this social story. It's actually like a coloring book social story. So kids can color it, and you can teach about deep breathing. So I also don't want to take your time up on this video, but there's a link here to, and maybe I'll play it just for a second. There's a link here to a really cute video on, I'm gonna stop sharing. A really cute video about deep breathing. The link is there. There's also Sesame Street in the communities. They have a ton of other social emotional resources that are great for young kids. Here's a fancy example of a calm down space. So I want to talk really quick about having a calm down space and the importance of having that in the classroom or in the home. So a calm down space is not timeout. We don't do timeout at Easter seals, but we do provide a safe space where if a child needs a moment to get to use their strategies, right? Whether it's they need to crash or they need to take some deep breaths or count to 10, having a space available for them to do that is really important. Here's another graphic. And again, the links on here if you want to use it, but things you can do to help calm down. You can even put this on your fridge, right? You can take deep breaths, take a drink of water, draw a picture, read a book, have a toy, rock, listen to music, go for a walk, count. So, teaching your child how to engage in these activities when they are feeling upset can really help to regulate them and calm them down. I want to talk a little bit about other social skills at home in the community. Talked a lot about social stories today, and I was talking a lot about different ones to teach those social and emotional skills. Social stories are great tools. They can pre-teach about any concept or new experience, okay? Here's examples of using social stories to teach personal space, stranger danger. I don't know if you can see this one down here. It's like literally a one-pager, right? Oh, good space. I give my friends some space. That is too close. Friends feel happy when we use good space. Super easy. There's books, personal space camp, but they are literally social stories about every sort of concept or experience you might want to pre-teach. Here's one, and the pictures are cut off, so I apologize, but about a new baby coming home, right? So just talking about these big life changes, things that are going to be different in your child's environment, can be really important to prepare them for what's upcoming. And it can be super simple. You can make them, you can find them on the internet. We can help at school. Like, hey, like we're having a new baby. Can you find us a social story that will work? We can even customize it, right? With pictures of you and your family. Other situations that you might want to make a social story for include grocery shopping, going to the doctor or dentist, getting a haircut, starting a new school or a new routine, holiday plans, vacations, right? It's really important to talk about and teach about what's upcoming, okay? Oh, I apologize. So yeah, it's really important to talk about or teach what is upcoming in your child's life. Also, this is for us, this is for the parents. Sometimes we need help with our own calming strategies, right? So I'm trying to get this so you can see it well. So this is for you, for parents, caregivers. When your child's having a hard time and you feel yourself getting upset, okay, take some deep breaths. Have a positive affirmation like, I have patience, right? Label your child's feelings. Remember, say, oh, I see you're upset. You can reassure the child, like, yeah, it's okay. Look for opportunities to celebrate positive behavior, okay? And then reflect. What happens next time when this happens? What were they trying to communicate to you through their behavior? And what might they have been feeling? Right? Remember something you like about your child or love about your child and count to 10. So I think these are really nice strategies that we can use because we're human too. And sometimes our children's behavior directly impact our own. I know this is hard, but you got this because that cute little baby says so. Here's the resource page. I linked the problem solving social stories, Super Friend, Tucker the Turtle. I also have Easter Seals has a YouTube page with a ton of resources. So I linked the playlists here for story time and music therapy because there are a ton of these actual stories as read alouds. So it's a teacher, therapist reading the book. And then music therapy also has a ton of great songs about social skills. So you can use those to teach the skills as well. Here's our National Center resources. You can also explore those websites as well. I'm going to stop sharing, but thank you all for watching, and please reach out to your classroom teacher or even myself if you have any questions or need any additional resources. Have a great day. Bye.